Hi, I'm Kevin, and what we have here today is a Davison guitar that I'm going to upgrade the pickup in it and make sure there's a Faraday cage. So I wanted to show the step-by-step procedure that I follow when I'm doing shielding on these cheaper guitars. If you like this kind of thing, please feel free to like, share, subscribe, and if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Let's get started. Okay, so these are the tools that you're going to need to get this job done. We've got some copper tape here. I just get this stuff on Amazon. It's like $8 a roll. It's around 2 inches wide, so you can, cut it down and do whatever you need to do to make it work. It's pretty easy to use. It's got adhesive backing on it, and this is what I use for the shielding. Now you want to make sure to get the stuff with the conductive adhesive. This way you don't have to worry about it not conductive when you put different layers on, because you're not going to get it in one go, especially at first when you first start. So it definitely takes some practice to get this stuff looking good, and I mean, I've still got a long ways to go with it too. So then you're going to need a multimeter. This is so you can either ohm out the shielding. And so if you've never done this before, you just set it to like 20k ohms. And when you touch the two leads together, you'll see it goes to 0. Like this right here. See how it goes to 0? This is how to check to make sure you have continuity. Everywhere you place these little leads on the copper should go back to 0. But if you want to do it a different way, there's a little beeper on here. All you gotta do is turn the thing to the beeper, and as long as it's conductive, it'll beep. It'll sound like this. So as long as it beeps, you know that you're conductive, you're doing fine. A pair of scissors. I like to just use a pair of scissors to cut off little pieces that I need and do that. Also, a couple different razors. I like to use this one here, the pointy one. But if you don't like to use that one, you can always use the flat one right here. And it's a lot easier with these sharper blades to really trim out and find detail where you want to put them. Most of the stuff you probably already have laying around the house. You can find a multimeter at any of your hardware stores, or I think even Walmart carries them. Now here is the pickup that I'm going to use. It is a single coil Lawler gold foil pickup. I wanted to show you what it looks like because it's shielded already. So you don't have to worry about doing anything to the pickup cavity or anything like that. So we're just going to open up the control cavity so you can see what it looks like. And on these cheap guitars, a lot of them might have shielding paint, but it's garbage. So really, this should be one of the first mods that you do to any of your especially cheaper guitars, because it's not going to be done right. You know what I mean? Just assume that. That way you don't have to worry about headaches with it being so noisy. And as you can see here, the cavity is bare. There's something on there, but I'm just not sure exactly what it is. I don't think it's shielding paint though, but it might be like some kind of a sealer or something. But we're gonna check continuity just to show you. See how it's not reading 0? That means that there's no conductive material protecting your electronics on there. So what we're going to do is just cut a little piece off so that it's a little bit more manageable to deal with. And you also want to do the pickup cover too, because once you do the pickup cover, once you have the pickup cover done, when you put it back on the guitar, you make what's called a Faraday cage, and that will protect your electronics much better than without it. So this stuff's pretty easy to use. What I like to do is just get the pieces in a little bit more manageable situation here, and then you can very easily see what you're doing. All you really got to do is sort of semi-fit it in the cavity where you want to start and press down on it. right? And it automatically will make a line for you. So I always try to cut it a little bit bigger than what I need to, too. So as you can see here, once I get this line cut, I'll show you exactly how I cut it out. So, and see, once you have your little line like that, you can see exactly where you need to cut it. So like I said, I cut mine a little bit bigger to be able to allow for where I need to overlap it and whatnot. So we're just going to cut that out. And this will be the first piece that I put in. So it's going to be a little tricky because this cavity is a bit smaller than what I'm used to doing too. So I'm just going to kind of fold the piece up a little bit and stick it in there as neatly as possible. Once you take the backing off of it, you're just going to want to try to put it in as straight and as neat as possible. So you can see I folded up a little bit to kind of get it put down in the cavity. And then I just put her down in there. And when I start pressing down on it, I want to work toward the side. That way it's not sticking to the side and you're getting it all the way inside the corners really well. Because it's, you can easily get it stuck on the side and then it won't lay down flat on the bottom. You know what I mean? So you just want to start in the middle and kind of work your way toward the edges there. And that'll be the first piece. So then you can see here on the side, I'm just made my little line there. And then I'll just cut it out a little bit bigger. And then I try to do my best to start at the sort of by the top and work my way down toward the bottom. That way, it's like working your way toward each bottom corner. That way, you got a real nice tight fit down inside there. I know it's hard to see with my grubby hands in the way, but so we get a nice edge going, and then just kind of work it down toward the bottom piece, and then those pieces will overlap. And they'll be sealed right up. And you can see there how it fit nice and neat. It's pretty straight, The stuff's tricky to work with, so it takes a while to get really good at it. And I just keep doing rinse and repeat until it's all done. And that's it. Pretty much all you got to do. So I'm test fitting for the other side. Instead of dealing with the wires, I just went ahead and used that same side for it, And that's the other side there. Now for the ends, what you want to do is you want to overlap it a little bit so that when you put the cover back on, it's touching the rest of the shielding and it makes your Faraday cage. If you don't have anything overlapping for that pickup cover, then it's not going to make the full cage. So I just try to overlap it by where the screws go on the pickup cover, on the ends there, just to make sure that we got a nice tight fit. So we just trim a little bit of that off and get it to fit to the best of your ability, and there you go. Now it is going to make a great connection with the cavity cover, and you have your Faraday cage made. So we'll go ahead and do the same thing to the other side, and then we'll be good to go. So this side's a little bit trickier since you got the wires coming out. So what I do is I pull the wires tight up at the top there, and then I work my way in the corner and sort of work my way up, and then sort of pull the wire through because the stuff is so thin that it'll just kind of pull through. And then you're covered as far as the only thing really showing is the wires coming through. You kind of covered the hole up a little bit better too. And like I said, this is very forgiving stuff, so you can, if you have to put another little piece in, it's not that bad to do it, even though you really want to do as little pieces as possible. But, when you first start with it, it's a little bit tricky. So, just figure it out and do what you got to do for it. And then, like I said before, I'll put another flap on that side there where the screw goes through the body of the guitar there. And then I've got a flap on both ends that will for sure have a great connection with that cavity cover. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. You can see my stuff's a little bit wrinkly, but it's pretty straight. But the cavity is pretty rough on the inside too, so that's about as good as you're going to get it. So now we will test for continuity. You can see here it's zeroing out just fine. And then we're going to check the control cavity, and that's all zeroing out just fine. You see how I'm just going on random ends just to make sure that everything is conductive. And then this is what it looks like when it's all said and done. And then here's the back of the pickup cover. And then once you put that cover on, you got your nice Faraday cage. Here you can see this is from the Jackson that I did. I want to just show this because it's a little bit bigger and it's a little easier to see. And I didn't get really great footage on this either, so I actually made this video with the intent of doing that. And this is what it looks like with the pickup in the guitar. And we are ready to go.